This episode is about the why behind your creativity. The question, what's really motivating you? And what can we do when we don't know how to answer that? I'm going to give you 3 ideas that will help. But first, here's what I've been struggling with this week. I'm feeling a little lost and wondering what is really motivating me. Like, why do I want to be creative? And this is definitely coming out of still grieving my mother, which, if you missed the episode where I talked about that, she passed away last month. Grief is weird. It takes up space in your chest. It makes everyday things like sitting down to play music feel heavier. Some days the reason for making anything at all just evaporates. The word meaningful has been swirling around in my brain with thoughts about what we leave behind, what effect we have on the world. I'm sure you think about this stuff too. We all do. But right now I feel like I'm climbing a mountain, but I'm not entirely sure why I'm climbing. Am I trying to get to the top, or do I just like climbing? And what's at the top? I'm not really aiming to be the best drummer or the best jazz composer in the world. I'm not trying to win jazz. I'm not trying to have the top creativity podcast in the world either. Actually, I don't really think there is a top when it comes to creative fields. I mean, yes, there are sales and ratings and there are metrics for popularity, but I'm talking about our own feelings of fulfillment or meaningfulness on a personal level. This isn't about money or fame or anything like that. I want to make work that's meaningful, but I'm also wondering, what exactly do I mean by that? That word meaningful, it kind of haunts me, almost like the question of what is the meaning of life. But beyond that, why do I even care about this? Is this coming from sincere longing to make a difference? Or is it just my ego wanting to feel special? So if you tuned in today, you might be in the same boat as I am. I've done a lot of thinking about this lately, and so I want to explore these 3 ideas that will definitely help us. Are you in? Oh, good. Let's go. All right, if you're a regular here, you might notice some changes. I'm experimenting with the format. I'm trying to have fun with this. After a year of being on camera, you'd think I would be comfortable by now. And I think I am in a way, but I'm not totally. It's like I'm used to the feeling of being uncomfortable. And so I'm really just trying to be myself and not worry so much about saying the wrong thing or looking stupid. But that actually relates to my first point concerning the topic, worrying. Not worrying. Number 1, just relax. Everything seems so intense sometimes, and it doesn't have to be. What I'm noticing is that when I let go of trying to answer the big questions, I actually start to feel lighter. Today, maybe my reason for making music isn't profound. It's just to get through a hard day. And I think that's enough for now. I sit down to the drums not to discover some amazing new thing that will open up new creative terrain for me as a drummer, but just to play. It's fun. And what's wrong with just having fun? We do this because we enjoy it, right? If not, maybe we're in it for the wrong reasons. Let's not overthink it. Being creative needs to feel right. It needs to light up that part of ourselves that led us to this path to begin with. So right now, that's what I'm trying to do. I sit down to the drums or the piano and just try to play something that's going to make me feel good. I try to reconnect with that part of myself that didn't have expectations or ambition or designs on a professional creative career, and just play. While I'm thinking about it, I would love to hear from you, whether that's in the form of a comment on YouTube or through the new website ktfpod.com. You can also sign up for my newsletter there that I just started specifically for the podcast. Number 2, permission to not have the answer. Okay, the second thing we should remember is that it's not our responsibility to have the answer all the time. Sometimes we just feel lost, and why wouldn't we? There is so much uncertainty in the world. I mean, how far out are we from an AI robotic drummer who can play like any drummer from Art Blakey to Stuart Copeland? But even before AI, there was uncertainty. For creative people, uncertainty is our bread and butter. That's where we live. And without getting too far down the AI rabbit hole, I think we need to realize that AI is never going to be creative. AI is good at pattern recognition and mimicking whatever we feed it. It can combine different things, which I guess is technically combinational creativity. But beyond that, it doesn't have human emotions or a childhood to draw on, memories to connect. But that's all I'll say about that for now. Getting back to uncertainty. I think if you're feeling overwhelmed by uncertainty, the best thing you can do is normalize it. Of course you're uncertain. Welcome to planet Earth. It's okay not to know exactly why you feel compelled to create right now. Sometimes we don't know until the thing is finished, if then. An exercise I try sometimes is to give myself permission to make something meaningless. This always reminds me of the Talking Heads and Stop Making Sense. Art doesn't have to make sense, and we don't have to know exactly why we're doing it. Number 3, reframe the ego question. So speaking of why we're doing it, the ego, I struggle with this a lot. I hate the idea of feeding my own sense of importance, and yet I think it's an unavoidable side effect of being human. Still, there has to be a bigger ultimate motivation that goes beyond the desire to feel important. I actually withdrew in recent years from playing so much. When I lived in New York, I was playing like 5 nights a week and barely making the rent. Then I moved to Iceland, and there were fewer gigs, but I was still playing anything that came my way. And then right around 2018 or so, I decided to focus more on my own music and stop doing so many sideman gigs. And then the pandemic hit, and everything stopped. When I finally started playing concerts again, it was kind of overwhelming. The feeling of connection with the audience was so magnified. I remember the first concert I played in front of an audience was at the Reykjavik Jazz Festival, and I had the urge to take everyone home with me after the concert. Not in a creepy way, but I just felt that connection that I didn't even realize I was missing. And I think the audience felt the same way. And in that moment, I felt like I understood what my place was in the world. I felt that need from the audience that was like the opposite poles of a magnet, like we needed each other. So what that taught me was not that I'm not important, but that what I'm doing is important. And also that the people I'm doing it for are just as important. The process is important. I'm one part of that whole equation, just as you are when you're doing your creative work, whether it's filmmaking or writing or cooking or whatever, you're doing it for them. And so I think when we stop looking at what we do from the perspective of what we need and how our careers will be helped or hurt by what we put out, and instead start to think about it as, what can we give? How can you be of service? And maybe you don't have an audience physically in front of you. Maybe you're not a performer, or maybe you don't have an audience yet because you're just getting started. You can still create from a place of service. You can still create with an imaginary audience in mind, or with the understanding that eventually there will be an audience. So focus on what your work is doing for them. That being said, we all have egos, and a healthy ego is a good thing. I'm not saying that we should feel unimportant, but that we should feel important because we are of service. But we're not more important than the audience, the reader, or the beholder. For me, I'm trying to let my mom's memory be more about creating than achieving. Sometimes I sit at the drums and just play the songs that she loved, with no agenda, and that alone feels meaningful to me. As I ask myself these questions, I keep coming back to moments when sharing music with friends felt real. Maybe that's a clue for me this week, and maybe for you too. Can we get back to that version of ourselves that didn't know success or failure, only striving, only engaging in the work because it was fun? Just the doing, just the showing up regardless of what came out of it, because we loved it, because we loved just doing it. Maybe that's a big ask, but I think these 3 ideas can help us get there. If we can take the pressure off and be okay with not having the answer for why we're doing this, but also focus more on being of service to our audience, I think that will get us much closer to a sustainable creative existence. So here's a bit of a homework assignment for this week. Let's try making something pointless. Draw, dance, play something random, and then ask yourself, did the why reveal itself, even just for a second? If not, don't worry about it. Thanks so much for hanging out. If this resonated with you, check out my Patreon where I get deeper into these subjects while I'm out walking my dog in Iceland or sitting at the piano trying to compose something. And thanks so much to my patrons. You have no idea how much it means to me to have you with me on this journey. I'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, keep the flow.